I'm about to lead this route behind me, Dawn, at Wilton Quarry, a hard, very severe 5B climb. What I've done before I've set off, if I've checked in the guidebook that I'm actually on the right climb, I've also had a look at it and sort of decided what gear I might need as I climb up, and I've racked my harness up appropriately. I've left some gear behind, like my very big hex, so I've got a rack of wires here. I've also got a few offset wires, because I know these work particularly well on quarried climbs in peg-scarred cracks. Got a few camming devices. I've chosen the sizes that I think I'll need for this route. And then I've got 7 extenders of various lengths. I don't think I'll need more than 7 on this climb. And I've got a couple of small hexes that I may use. I've got some slings around my body as well to help me build the belay when I get to the top. And also, before I've set off, I've tried to sort of check where I think the tricky bits of the climb will be. First of all, by reading the book, and secondly, by just having a look at the climb. And I can see that this first bit certainly looks a bit tricky. There's some sort of narrow cracks, there's a bit of a bulge outwards, and some smaller footholds. So I'm already thinking, before I set off, I'm going to put a couple of bits of gear low down on this tricky bit. It then gets a bit easier as I get higher up to the sort of the middle halfway ledge, where I can hopefully have a rest before doing the final bit of the climb. So, before I set off, I'm also going to check my knot. I'm also going to check that Rob's got me on belay correctly, and then Rob can do the same, checking my knot, checking the belay. It's called a buddy check. Good idea to do before you set off. I'm standing on a bouldering mat, so this allows me to keep my feet clean before I climb, and also provides a bit of protection should I slip off before I get the first bit of equipment in. It's not essential to have a bouldering mat, and it's really up to every climber to decide how they wish to manage the risks when lead climbing. And before I get my first bit of kit in, Rob's going to spot me from below, and then once I get my bit of kit in, he can put me on belay. Okay, so, you ready, Rob?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so let's set off. So there's a narrow crack here above me that I think I can get a good bit of protection in. Placing it, giving it a good tug. Yeah, that looks like a good bit of equipment. I'm going to put quite a short extender on that. Okay, Rob. That first one's clipped in. But like I said, it's a bit tricky, this bottom bit, so I'm actually going to put a second piece of equipment in, putting one of these offset little nuts in. Also a good tug. Clip them back on my harness. I get a slightly longer extender there, just to reduce the chance that the one bit of kit lifts the other piece out. So I've got to work my feet up, I think. Reach out to a slightly distant handhold. A little bit damp for my hands there, Rob. Just sort of watch me here. I'm conscious that I'm quite a way above my first bit of gear now, so probably try and get a second bit in here, well actually a third piece in here, before I pull onto this ledge. Because if I sort of slipped without a piece in here, there's actually a chance I'd hit the ground. But I can get a nice, oh maybe not, a bit further back perhaps. Bit awkward, but that's often the way with traditional climbing, because you've got to let go with one hand to sort your equipment out. Okay, so relatively straightforward. Getting stood onto this ledge. So I get a nice rest here and big footholds. Much easier to place a piece of equipment now for the second half of the climb where it starts here. Place a piece of gear as high as I can above my head. Okay. So. Also, when I'm placing a bit of gear and hanging off the other arm, hanging off straight where possible. Okay. Actually got one of those offset nuts in again. Not as high as I'd like, but very, very good placement, so I'll use that. Roots heading off to the right here, so I'll use one of those longer quick draws. A slightly longer one would actually be ideal. That's good, nice big holds, massive ledge to stand on, a little rest here. Looks like I can get some really good protection in here again. This carrying device I can extend a bit, which is useful because I can put an extender on it as well. And it's actually quite nice and long, which is good. A little bit tricky here, so I might actually try and get another piece of equipment in. Just spotted though, very good nut placement. Don't know how I missed that before. Anyway, that's very good as well. So I've got two very good bits of protection in. Clip that as well. Got two good bits of equipment there to protect this final tricky move. Yep, so a bit awkward here. Shifting your balance across. Nice finishing handhold and some nice big footholds. I'm aware as I top out that my last bit of equipment's quite a way away. I've got some very good handholds and footholds, so I'll just go up carefully. Great, so I'm topped out now. So what I need to do is build a belay. So I'm topped out now, my roots. Need to build a belay so I can bring Rob up. So there's good cracks here. Can put a wire in there, that's good. And then I can see that I can get one of these camming devices in as well. What I'm going to do first is get a sling, just so I'm going to use that to connect both of these bits of equipment. Put a camming device in as well. Yeah, it's looking good. Let's get another screw gate. Go on here. So I'm just tying these together with a sling, so that they're independent and equalised. Screw gates are tied up. I'm happy just using these two bits of equipment. I always want to use a minimum of two. That wire is very good and that cam is good as well. I need to attach myself to the relay. And actually, in this instance, simply because of the distance, it almost looks as if I'd want to clip directly in. Yeah, that's actually about perfect. So to tell Rob I'm safe. I'm safe, Rob!
Okay, Johnny.